Hey everybody. I would like to begin this podcast with the regular generic applause.
Because we deserve it.
We deserve it. That was the doubling up on the 4 or 5 fans we have just clapping on their mics.
There we go.
We have a bunch of stuff to talk about. First of all, I would like to... Hold on, we're literally playing a game. Jason, describe the podcast. I'm getting whispers here.
All right, for those who don't know what's going on, we travel around on our game here, and at the same time we try to discuss things that interest us. So we hope they interest you too, but every once in a while you'll get dead air, and that's just because, for one reason or another, we're trying to concentrate on not dying or something similar.
I enjoy your description.
Oh, you're welcome.
Well, we're a gimmicky podcast.
Yes, we are.
We're the distracted gamers, and it's basically an excuse to play a video game while attempting to have an intelligent discussion. Sometimes we succeed for 20 seconds at a time.
If we're lucky.
Man, how did we manage to pick a difficult one? And why am I in front?
Because I'm following you. I've never been to this level before.
This is hard. First of all, I'd actually like to bring up the whole changes with Microsoft and how their nefarious plan managed to negate all of our ramblings in the last podcast.
There we go. That's a good way to put it.
I knew that's what they were doing. I know that some guy in some head up in Microsoft was sitting there thinking, we gotta counter what the distracted gamers
were.
Yeah, just us.
Oh, I guess we do.
We just pulled this bird thingy here.
As you guys are well aware, if you listen to the last one, the whole snafu with Microsoft and their bag policy that goes towards their console. And this week, they actually reversed it, which I did not expect. They essentially pulled a Mass Effect 3.
Yeah, that is kind of weird that they went back like that.
Well, they didn't completely reverse it because the camera is still part of it.
Right, it's still watching you. But the whole online all the time, as well as the DRM features, they've gotten rid of them all. And you could theoretically say that they basically caved into fan demands. But I heard an interesting analysis, which I talked to Jason about a little while ago,
right,
where somebody had suggested that it actually had nothing to do with the outrage online and had everything to do with the fact that
they were planning it.
Basically, well, no, that Sony's entire policy was geared around the fact that Microsoft was doing something very unpopular. If Sony had geared their PR campaign around the fact that Microsoft was screwing up, they wouldn't have changed so drastically. I don't know if I buy that, but it's definitely an interesting thing to think about, the fact that they went out of their way to reverse policy changes on a console solely because the competitor was actually taking advantage of the fact you had those policies.
Here we go.
Those policies.
Yeah.
I don't know what to think of that. I would like to think that me being angry about the whole thing finally forced Microsoft to change it, but I guarantee they didn't do it without considering the fact that they could get away with it. There's a lot of AoE on here. You guys need to avoid standing in it. Get the ads DPS.
Okay.
It's a ridiculous... The whole thing is stupid, and the fact that they went out of their way to force it down gamers' throats and then change their policy is foreign to me. I didn't think it would happen. Now, whether or not I buy it and now would consider one of their consoles if I'm going to be fair to Microsoft, it was a good move, and as a consumer, I approve. That being said, I still don't think I would run out to buy it, but I'm more considerate of the fact that I would consider buying it. I was far too offended by how they dealt with it before to fully turn completely to purchase a console. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like I was saying, since there's no reason to stick around, I don't feel any real loyalty, especially after what Microsoft has done, and so they're going to have come up with some other reason for me to want to continue with that system. Right now, as it is, since there's no backwards compatibility on either one, on Microsoft or Sony, it's like basically price at this point is going to be the determining factor. And since but
how Microsoft dealt with it isn't necessarily sitting in the favor pile for you.
No, it's not.
Droids first, by the way. The utility droids.
Ah, okay.
Oh, what do you think, Vaughn?
I think I'll still buy it, depending on who else is buying it. I'm still...
See, Vaughn's motivations are very simplistic.
Yeah. I get the Game Informer.
We got to go left. We got to fight these guys.
I get the Game Informer, and in it they did a survey of their readers.
Isn't that basically just an advertisement for GameStop?
Oh, yeah. But it's the only game store out here, so I'll take it.
You got to take your pick, right?
Yeah, it's that or Walmart. I have issues.
You have issues, or Walmart has issues?
Yes.
Probably both.
Yeah.
But
a little bit of both. When I walk into Walmart, I have random dramatic features. That's why I can't purchase from them.
Oh, let's see. What do these people want me to kill?
You guys gotta kill those droids, man.
Working on it.
I don't want to stay on it too long. We spent an entire podcast about. What were you going to say,
They
Vaughn?
did a survey about all sorts of stuff from their readers, and some of the interesting things that I found in it were that the second app, for lack of a better word, is Netflix. Nothing else came close for non-gaming. They had none or nothing outnumbered ESPN, Amazon, HBO, Hulu, and the Internet combined.
Really? So what would you conclude from that, then?
That watching the TV on it, not so important, but watching Netflix is an important thing. However, there are plenty of other places to watch Netflix.
Well, right, but I would not say that my sole motivation for buying something that expensive is for Netflix.
Yes.
You could buy a Blu-ray player that plays Netflix.
Or a TV.
Right, or just a TV. My mother's super fancy 3D television has a Netflix attachment to it. Hold on a second. All right, I actually paused it there for a second. You guys didn't need to hear us debating how to handle a fight on the game we're playing. Actually, I want to move on. I watched Star Trek this week.
Okay.
It was better than I thought it would be. It still has the same problem I had with the first, and that is the entire movie is basically a wink wink, this is Star Trek. If that makes sense.
We need to click on this, right?
Yes.
Alright, so I'm clicking on it.
Well, the whole movie, it's like, it just self-references. It's like, hey, this is Star Trek, green women, grin, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You know what I mean? And it's not as bad as the first one is, but it still has that problem. You gotta stand in the middle, Vaughn, that fire comes out of the grates.
I'm there now. Takes me a little while.
Yeah, I'm gonna lose this girl. It's an interesting movie. I had fun with it. It was better than I thought it was gonna be, but then again, it wasn't perfect. Some of the changes, I had the distinct impression like they were basically trying to redo previous movies, just slightly different so that they don't have to write a more interesting plot. It's like, hey, let's just, if you haven't seen the movie, I don't know, why haven't you seen the movie? I guess I could say spoilers, but spoilers are stupid. Anyway, spoilers, but Khan is in it, and it's like re-referencing a character that already existed. It's a whole new, distinct, separate universe. Could it possibly exist in the realm of a new story?
No, apparently they can't do new stories in Star Trek.
No, well, Star Trek is now Star Wars.
Almost. We'll see after the next movie.
Shoot.
It wasn't bad. I enjoyed it. I don't want to get into a detailed review. The problem with reviews, and I'm willing to do them, the problem with reviews, though, is that you get consumed with the fact that this is the correct opinion, when in reality everybody has different tastes, and this is my opinion.
That's true.
That's true. I heard Superman was dark this time.
It doesn't bother me. Mind the circle behind you there, Vaughn. I tried to keep it away.
He's down below 30%.
I haven't had a chance to see Superman. I'm willing to talk about it, and I'm actually very distracted right now.
Seriously.
To get too detailed on Star Trek, and this is kind of a ridiculous, difficult fight. But could somebody get these guys off of me?
I'm working on it.
It was pretty good. Now, if you guys recall previously, you got to avoid these circles, Vaughn. I made a big deal about being interested in playing The Last of Us, not having enough money to play The Last of Us. Strangely enough, my sister bought The Last of Us, and I've been playing it, and I beat it in the last couple of days.
Okay.
Well, for all the hype and the excessive amount of love that game gets, it is a very good game. I would like that Reckling.
Yeah, I debated on it.
It is a very good game. Have any of you seen The Road?
I have not. Know a little bit about it, though.
It's based off a book. It has Viggo Mortensen in it. It's like the game version of The Road. It's not a happy game. Imagine dealing with post-apocalyptic world realistically.
That's ugly.
It is. Oh man, distracted.
Thus, what we are known for.
Dun dun dun. I enjoyed it. A few major gripes. Let's start with the good stuff. It's fun, it's engrossing, it sucks me in. I enjoy playing the game. It reminds me of Uncharted, the controls and stuff. Obviously, it's made by the same people. But as I started to play, it's like Naughty Dog got better and better with their stealth aspects to the game. And now you have to sneak even... You remember in Splinter Cell how you have to go even slower?
Yeah.
Sometimes because people can hear you, or if you step across certain things, they can hear that. It's like they did that in this game, and it's like it started turning closer and closer to an actual stealth game. And the problem with that is Splinter Cell already did it well. And I got this distinct impression this is basically Splinter Cell with zombies, which actually sounds pretty cool when you think about it. But still,
it's just Splinter Cell, but with zombies.
Well, it's like I've already seen somebody do it really well, and they're basically trying to rehash ground that was already done perfectly beforehand. It's actually right up my alley. I'm into the whole zombie thing. I'm really into the whole post-apocalyptic thing. I like to read dystopian novels and stuff. 1984 and Brave New World and what have you. It's
Brave New World was something wrong. There's all...
Dystopian novels are not supposed to be happy.
I loved Brave New World. It's a twisted, messed up book, but...
I enjoyed it right up to the end.
It was one of my favorite books that I had to read for my English class back in high school.
It's one of those disturbing, And anyway, it reminds me a lot of that, and it's more of the personal story between you and the person in the your companion in the game. It controls really well. Like I said, everything's great. The major gripe of the game that actually pulls you out of it and distracts from the whole atmosphere is the really bad companion AI. Like, I could care less if the enemy AI is bad, and it actually was pretty good, but the companion AI was just horrid. When you're sitting there hiding behind a corner as some monster is sneaking down shambling down the hallway, and one of your companions decides he's going to take cover on the other side of the zombie and push him out of the way to get to it, and the zombie doesn't do anything.
Yeah, that's something wrong with that.
Well, wait. When you've got a companion in your group and you're trying to be secretive and stealthy, and the companion basically runs right in front of somebody you're hiding from, and nothing happens. I suppose they decided they better get rid of the
kind of poorly designed
companion screwing up because we can't actually design this very efficiently. I put down a puddle. It pulls away from the world big time. It's I don't know. I don't want to dump on the game too much, but to pretend that it's perfect and the greatest thing ever, like everybody has, is disingenuous to say the least. I really enjoyed it, and I started playing through again. I actually beat it through the first time on hard, and I started playing through on survival or insanity or whatever the highest. Watch out for this boss guy; he's going to knock you out. It's the only boss you'll ever see like this. Run! Oh crap. I don't know. That's all I want to share about that. Let's actually jump to somebody else who has something to say. Jason, what did you want to talk about?
I've been watching some British television recently, and
you're also kicked.
Not that I want to talk about any series in particular, but it's always been weird to me that you have here in the U.S. they'll create a series and there will be, depending on if it comes in mid-season or if it comes in at the beginning of the season, there will be 26 episodes in the series, and then you switch over to British television, and they have at max 7 episodes in the series.
You mean the short series run?
Yeah, I mean it's the series. They'll have like I said, at most 7 episodes, and usually one of them is almost a Christmas special kind of thing. And not that there's anything wrong with it, but I'm curious to get your input on things like whether or not you think something like that could work here or not, or if we just we expect the full 26 series runs, and so we're just not. I don't know.
we're going to have a group here. Vaughn, did you want to go on that first?
My thought is I don't mind the Japanese half season, 13 episodes.
Yeah, that's one of the things that, like...
Yeah, but at the same time, it makes me think of sports here in America. If it's not a high score, we don't really care.
Yeah. That's kind of what I'm...
I don't know if that's equatable or not.
Oh, it's not, but I found it a stupid, funny connection.
You enjoy that being an idea.
I do.
Well, I've seen a lot of the... basically every TV series that Ricky Gervais has done. I don't know why. I'm not a big super Ricky Gervais fan, but I usually enjoy some of the stuff he does. And there's a habit I've noticed in British television where they don't run multiple seasons very often. Usually when they do a show, it's like 1-2 seasons, and then that's pretty much it. Like they figured they said what they had to say, and then they're done. As far as the short season length, I don't know. I hadn't noticed. I don't watch a lot of British television.
There's a series, one of the, you mentioned Ricky Gervais, and he was one of the things that...
Actually, Jason, hold on. All right, we're back again. Drama. And anyway, Jason, what were you
I was just... You mentioned Ricky Gervais, and that he was one of the things that brought this to mind.
The shortened series.
Well,
run.
When he was at, what was it, the Emmys, and he was kind of making fun of people.
Kind of making fun of people?
He brought out the box set of the Office that he did, and it was the entire series. From start to finish, all the seasons, everything. And he was saying, quality over quantity, and he was making that reference to Steve Carell.
To be honest, I think the Curiosity, I didn't do it right. I was trying to talk, and I died. My bad. I wasn't paying attention. I suck. You guys aren't going to win this. You might as well jump off.
I'll just jump off.
Here we go again.
You can't win. Yeah.
Well, I'm practicing the thing here. Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Well, I'm out of here.
It's a curious thing. To be honest, I'm going to oversimplify the whole thing.
I was going to I was also going to mention that there's a series in particular that I've been thinking of. It's are we heading the right way? Yes, we are. Okay. There's a series that they did. It's called Last of the Summer Wine. They started broadcasting back in 1973, and they did about 6 episodes per series. And they finally, the last series was broadcast in 2010. So it was on TV for a very, very long time. So I don't think that I think that if there's enough interest in the series, it can go for a very long time. I'm just wondering about, the difference between that and whether or not, we should be giving opportunities for shorter series. And one of the things that, Vaughn brought up the short 13 series runs that they do on, Japanese television. Japanese television will also do a thing where one season is all they need to tell the story, and then they're done and moving on. They don't keep coming back.
To be honest, I'm gonna oversimplify it and explain it as it's likely just cultural difference. Yeah. I really don't know if Americans would be into that sort of thing. To be honest, most seasons, in my opinion, should be like 24 episodes a season. If they aren't, if they only do like 10 for the year, it seems to me like they're just lazy. They just run out. I don't know what this person thinks that he she needs to know. She knows how to do my job better than I do. They go away in 5 seconds. The only thing he attacks, gosh dang it, I am the healer. It's an interesting point to make. If there was anything I would plug as far as British TV goes, it'd be Doc Martin.
I'm dead. Just went
See, told you. You got to be right on it. Doc Martin's a great show. Let's go a little bit more nerdy now. Vaughn, what do you got?
I got a list. Top 10 games. This past week I thought about what games have I thoroughly enjoyed over time, since we discussed one of them last week, Vagrant Story. And
right.
And I realized
graphics that do not hold up today.
It was on my it was where I first realized I enjoy adventure games. Action adventure. I thought RPGs were my favorite, and on my list I've got a couple of RPGs. Like
what it tells me is you like the story.
Yes, I do. I like Shenmue. I hated the quick action things. My reflexes.
The QTEs.
Yeah.
And Shenmue, if anybody hasn't played it, is at fault for having created QTEs.
Yes.
Which everybody apparently has to do now. Anyway, I derailed you. Which is apparently a new
not hard
term that we use on the podcast.
Oh, he's coming down.
We're constantly derailing
Shenmue
each other.
one.
Portal was another one that I just thoroughly enjoyed. It gave me more of a reaction than I thought.
Right, but a first-person shooter that manages to give you a decent story.
Yes. The only other first-person shooter I have on here is actually Quake 3, which has no story. But I think...
I think the game developers would disagree with you, but you're right.
Hey, is there any way you could pull me from there?
I don't think so. I'm sucking it up right now as it is. Vaughn's gonna die.
I think the reason I enjoyed that, though, is I played it socially. One of the places I worked at, it was one of the games that we did. And I remember the first day, I fell off. The first day being trained on it, we had Eric there, and he's teaching me a way, and about
we can't do it with a couple. I suicided.
The third game, the third little competition against him, I actually won. I was so proud, and I'm learning so much. And then he pointed out his handicap, and he was at 25, which means he had 25% of the health I did and dealt 25% of the damage, and I barely won.
I've actually done that before. I'm going to comment on the game we're making. This isn't actually the point of the podcast. We've got a person in our group where we're running a flashpoint on an MMO, and she basically thinks that she needs to explain everything as if we're morons. And then when we lose, she's like, well, we got to do this, this, and this. And she gives me advice on how to heal. And if I'm a level 55 healer, I'm pretty sure I know what I'm doing.
You should by this point.
I should, but you have your top 10 you wanted to...
They aren't in order because,
I'll tell you if your opinion's wrong or not. Seeing as how it's your top 10, but...
Shenmue, Portal, Planescape Torment, Assassin's Creed, 1, 2, maybe Brotherhood, but it started getting... I haven't played much beyond that.
It started to.
I enjoyed Subject 16's story. I enjoyed that a lot.
There are two parts to the Assassin's Creed game. The story within the Animus and the story without the animus. And 90% of the time, the story within the animus is the more interesting story.
But
And that's
okay.
all I had to share.
Final Fantasy, and I'm actually going to say 10. I like that one best.
Oh, okay. Are you lumping these all together like like the Assassin's Creed?
Well, no, I'm going with 1. 1 was my preference.
Well, so what? Well, it set up the premise of loving the game.
Yeah,
anyway.
which is why I enjoyed 2, but it still wasn't as good.
Yes, thanks for congratulating us, other person in our group.
We survived the first
The
attempt.
problem that I'm having isn't so much that I can't do it.
It's like a pat on the head. Hey, morons, you did it.
It's that I'm paying more attention to the fact that this guy is fighting us and we're having fun here blasting away at him. And I don't always get right up close fast enough.
I do like the fact that you guys bundle up. It makes me feel good. You got your top 10. You're still trying to hash your way through.
Quake 3, Elder Scrolls Morrowind. There's a good story.
Morrowind?
Yeah. It was my first
with
introduction to it.
Never are, if I'm not mistaken.
Say that again?
Isn't that what his name is? The Never Are, the whole story of that? Yeah, I remember the game. I remember spending countless hours on that first Dwemer Ruins, over collecting the things inside. Like pulling out stuff worth like 50 gold that weighed an unnatural amount of weight. And I didn't need to do it, but I had a habit of like literally hauling cups and cans out of the first ruin.
Crap.
You just died. Well, I'm just saying it because I failed you.
Running back and forth.
Gosh, what's going on? Did somebody fall off? Oh, she fell off. Oh, well, she's in the other foot there. Well, we would have won. Yeah, we can't win.
Let's see. We said Vagrant Story. Another one I played in the lab was StarCraft. So that was an awful lot of fun, but it was more a social again.
Just so you know what the switches aren't.
I saw the switches, but I noticed that you guys were already doing it, so I figured I'd just keep shooting him.
Well, apparently you got to join.
Man.
So everybody scrambles.
How does she
except for me.
keep picking up stuff?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Crafting.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Vaughn, list
Last
continue.
one on the list is actually Guitar Hero.
Oh, boo.
It was the first one that made me actually
I'm disappointed in you as a human being.
Okay. It made me feel like I was capable of making music. And I recognize that that's not what I was doing.
So does a triangle, but doesn't mean you go out and buy one.
Yeah, but a triangle doesn't do the same thing. I push buttons, and good music comes out. As long as I do it on the rhythm, great. Of course, my brother is actually a musician. So I worked hard and got up to medium difficulty.
Jason, you're too stupid. You need to talk to Vaughn about it.
Yeah.
Well, let me put it this way, Vaughn. Real musicians, as far as I can tell, don't like Guitar Hero because it screws them up.
He came in. I worked hard. I improved my skills. I'm on medium difficulty. He comes in, picks it up at hard. Yeah, okay.
Well, his thing is probably the rhythm that he's getting pretty well, rather than the actual being able to play the game.
Oh no, he gave.
Jason, you need to follow her. She needs to show you how stupid you are. Look, you need to go over there. Go, Jason!
Well, ready? 3, 2, 1, I'm starting.
Oh, man. See the switch? Just say, I can't see. Oh, you guys have no idea what's going on, but this is fun.
Gotta get closer.
I mean, oh crap. I'm alive.
Woohoo! We're all good.
You almost went off the edge there, but...
I mean, I like the idea of a top 10. I don't have I suppose I have a top 10, it's just I don't have one hashed out right now.
Well, that just means next week.
It grows and changes as games come out.
I'll push a switch, lady.
Well, the switches turn the flames on so it can't jump from one to another.
It's an interesting concept. I have some Final Fantasies. To be honest, the first one I really played a lot was Final Fantasy VIII, which is normally considered
it was a hard
to be not very good.
Odd.
Well, Final Fantasy is odd.
Yeah, but it's the only one I know of where the bad guy is a good guy, or the first hero.
Right, and the first bad guy isn't the main bad guy; it's another bad guy. Yearn for the years of Kefka.
You know,
nobody understands that.
Kefka was a bad guy in number 2, 4,
6.
It was 4 in America first. That was the version I played.
The purists would consider 6 to be the best and 7 to be the overhyped one. But what can I say?
I'll go with both of those. The problem I had with 6 is it was long when I didn't have as much time to play, so it was kind of disappointing to me. That I got to the end, I'm just, come on, let's move the story along here. But it did have some really fun points.
Are you constructing something at your house?
Oh, no, my son's in the background. He escaped.
You have him imprisoned?
We try to. That's how we try and get him to go to sleep.
You missed the conversation. So we had a conversation with a bunch of people, me and Jason, the other day. And I brought up the fact that people were talking about what they would do if they had a lot of money. And I actually had a friend, friend-ish. It's like a work friend.
An acquaintance.
Right, a guy who I worked with, who, I told him if I ever got to the point where I had a ridiculous amount of money, that I would pay him to follow me around and throw rocks at people and tell them what kind it was, because he was a geologist.
That's awesome.
Which I thought was a great idea.
That is just awesome.
Take this igneous rock, you fool, and swear or something and chuck it at people. I was wondering, in that sort of realm, what you would do, even if it's just ridiculous. And I'm talking like, is there a ridiculous thing that you would do if you had an excess of money? Because everybody considers that at some point. Buying something stupid, doing something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would buy an island. I like the idea of being able to go somewhere that is like...
See, stupid would be buying an island and populating it with only a certain color of rabbit.
I could do that.
But you have the money and the finances to just do it.
I actually think it's really stupid to buy an island. Mostly because the fact that, like,
you're cut off and that one hurricane comes over and it just buries you.
Exactly. Or I mean, even if you're not on the island, you're away for when the hurricane comes, man, it's going to destroy your house. There's going to be nothing left. You're going to be rebuilding it every time that happens.
Well, I kept thinking, build that underground super bunker on the island. That way you don't really have an above-ground house. It's just underneath. But then I was like, yeah, but it'll shake the foundation, and then you'll get leaks, and you constantly have to repair the thing. And I would have to figure out a way to personally manufacture lemon heads, because I don't think I'd be able to get regular shipments. They could do that. They could do that supply drop that they do in Modern
Right,
Warfare.
with the plane going overhead and parachuting your supplies to you. Yeah.
Yeah, be the unlucky guy that's standing underneath when it hits. That's always the most shameful death that you get in Modern Warfare, when the thing beams you on the head mid-game. Such and such dies from falling crate.
I know what I'd do now.
Okay.
I would recreate pieces of video games, like the dojo in Shenmue.
You would just build it?
It'd be part of the house.
I'd build it because it looks like a cool dojo.
Well, it does.
Well, what?
But then you open the closet and there's these Final Fantasy swords in there. And they'd have to be...
the wrist-shattering Final Fantasy swords.
The problem is, I would have to have them be
it looks like we're going for the bonus, by the way.
actually real swords.
There's a video online of a guy who literally made the Buster Sword out of steel.
I don't think it's going to be steel.
No, well, he ended up making it out of aluminum or something because he couldn't make it out of steel. They just couldn't lift it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And he had to, like, double the size of the handle because he couldn't hold the thing.
So hilarious.
We pulled a single here. And the group. Good job, Jason.
I'm gonna die here.
Never! Something frivolous and ridiculous. Well, would it just be the Shenmue building, or would you...
Well, I'd actually have the mirrors made too, and one of them would be buried beneath the tree, so I'd have to get a tree that's the right type, and all the fun stuff like that.
Shoot.
I built...
Oh, you get that cherry blossom tree, and I'm getting the crap beat out of me over here.
Sorry about that.
I blame you.
You should.
I am. Currently. I don't. I'd consider some really frivolous, like the paying a geologist to follow me around and throw rocks at people, telling them what kind it is. I always thought, like in reference to the Family Guy episode, to have a marching band follow me around and play my soundtrack, which I thought would just be great. Or even then, just have a team sitting in a room and I just have a little speaker on me all the time.
Your own theme music.
Yeah, and it's just some group inside a secret room somewhere, just composing and creating the music as we go. It'd be like improv orchestra.
That would be really weird. Improv orchestra.
Yeah. I actually saw somebody on Chat Roulette try and do an improv dance routine. People would type things in Chat Roulette, and they would try and dance it out, which was just moronic because you can't really translate what the people are actually saying to the actual dance. Freaking modern dancing. If anybody can explain it to me, write or email. And equating with modern art. If it looks like a...
But you have to explain it in not an artsy way. It has to be a way that would be understandable to a lay person.
Right. A legitimate
art
way.
Art is still the excuse to look at naked people.
You know what I was thinking today? The worst kind of art? What would you say is the worst kind of art? Because I already have an answer for it. What is that?
Exactly.
That's a good answer.
Dada is crap art.
I don't know.
No, seriously, it's crap art. It's just like art for the sake of being able to put crap in a museum kind of thing.
Hey everybody, enjoy the slight pause. Recording. Oh, we're back, and I'm off screen, and we're fighting a super boss. What was I talking about, Jason?
That's a good question. That's kind of what I was hoping you would say.
We were talking about
stupid things we spend money on.
Right, but what was the thing I brought up? Oh, the orchestra.
Oh, right.
No, there was a group on Chat Roulette and the whole modern art thing. The problem with the modern art thing, in my opinion, is it Well, obviously it's fully subjective. Oh, I screwed that up. Ladies and gentlemen, I am at fault. And Jason's going to get me killed. No! No! This is great radio.
Woohoo! You saved me.
So the worst form of art, and I guarantee you somebody out there is going to disagree with me, partially because they think that they're doing art when they do this, but it's photography. Now, there is a possibility of being good at photography and taking a decent picture. But in my opinion, people who get into photography are those who are trying to be artists and don't want to do something that takes genuine skill.
There's that too, but at the same time, I was supposed to run, sorry.
Yeah, you screwed
I did.
that. And I can't res you right now, buddy. Holy crap. Holy crap. Holy crap. Holy crap. Holy crap. You better come back.
I'm coming back. And I'm taunting him. Thank you for that.
See, I think that the worst form of art is Dada.
I don't know what it is.
It's worse than photography. It is doing things stupidly and seeing...
Run.
I'm running the wrong way.
See, one of the guys that started Dada art...
Well, let me describe my point of view with photography, and maybe it'll explain why it's worse than Dada. Any teenager or 20-something who gets a camera and decides to turn it into sepia or black and white thinks he's an artist. Takes the picture at a weird angle, and somehow that's interesting art. He enraged, we screwed it. We didn't do too bad, though. And that's what pisses me off about it. I've seen how many teenagers or kids in their 20s thinking that they're going to do something artsy and expressing themselves, when all it is a a picture angle from way low in sepia tone. Now, it is hard to take a consistently good picture, and there is somewhat skill involved, but when it comes to it being like a fully developed art skill, I find it hard to even compare it to mimes. Because mimes at least have to develop a skill of some sort and have to get good at it. Because even though miming is stupid, you can tell a bad mime from a good mime. It's like your Vaughn from your guy in the street.
No.
There's a big difference between good and bad mimes.
I think
you like that reference there?
I thought it was appropriate. I also think that you haven't seen good photography.
I've seen good photography. I had a girl I used to work in a photo lab, and I had a girl there that actually won a contest and had her thing featured on the front of the magazine. I've seen good photography. I still don't care. I look at it and I go, if I have a decent camera, I could take that picture too. I can't look at a painting that Leonardo da Vinci has done and go, I think I could do that.
There is some
like
skill.
I could take 1,000 pictures and still turn out a really good picture. Now, to be fair, consistently getting good pictures is a skill. If I took 1,000 pictures, there'd be a few in there that are pretty darn good, I guarantee.
True.
I can't paint 1,000 pictures and have any of them decent. And therein lies the difference.
Now,
it's like with the podcast. Anybody can make a podcast, whether or not people listen to it. Which is surprising. I actually want to thank our fans that are listening. And as we berate them at the same time. as we question their sanity while they listen to the podcast. You need to explain Dada before we start wrapping up the podcast.
Now, I don't know if I can really
run
explain Dada.
Oh, no! I'm going to die!
Other than saying that Dada is...
Oh, hold on. We're in the middle of a fight, and my flash updater popped up.
Yep, you just died.
Go ahead.
All right, so I don't know that I can really explain Dada other than saying that Dada is crap art. For instance, there was a guy named Duchamp, and he was one of the founders of that particular movement or school or what have you.
I like Duchamp.
French.
He's funny.
He's funny, but it's still crap.
Well, no. Like, in advance of a broken arm, it's a snow shovel. But the
Have you
name
seen
of
Our
it...
Mutt?
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
Well, no, the performance art that was performed a couple of years ago with it is even worse. Someone used it. It's a urinal. He pulled it off a wall, wrote "Our Mud" on it, and stuck it.
And it was hanging in the Metropolitan Museum of Art.
Yeah.
Until they decided that, never mind, this is actually crap. And they took it out of the display. And of course, John got all pissed off about it. Because they were taking it apart.
See, that just reminds me of those vaguely shaped objects that you see in front of business buildings and on campuses. Like there's one on the campus nearby us that basically looks like a bunch of French fries. And my opinion was, there's no way in heck I'm going to buy that stupid.
The name of it isn't Our Mutt. It's The Fountain.
Yeah, I know it's...
Did everybody get a
I remember
drink?
I remember it as Our Mutt because...
The use of a urinal.
Yeah, and scratched Our Mutt on the side of it. But it's completely... It's a piece of crap art. It's not art. It's just crap art. But because...
I tend to lump in that stuff. It just modern art in one big group. But
this is the...
Show me you have skill, not that you're weird.
This is definitely I'm weird. Yep. Okay, are we ready now?
No, but we'll try again.
I'm good to go. You guys get to listen to us lose.
Over.
Which is interesting to nobody. Not even us. To listen to us lose. I don't have a... We've gotten all serious and educated here, and we're not supposed to be. I have no idea when it comes to art like that. I just think it's all stupid. One person who was actually an art... he had a master's or something in art, and he used to teach it. I had a conversation with, and he basically described really interesting art projects trying to basically get me to understand why some of this stuff is really cool. And one thing he explained to me is this guy did a big image of colors, and it's basically like 8 feet tall and super wide, and the whole idea is you're supposed to stand super close to it. And what it was supposed to express a feeling or an emotion. So when you stand super close to it, all you could see is just that color. And my opinion was, if I can do it, it's not art. And he didn't like it. And I was like, so a big canvas of just green saying this is envy is basically your explanation of art? That's basically what you're telling me there, buddy?
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to kill me, Vaughn.
I circled back on myself.
Yeah, we're doubling up our drops here. You see my point?
Yeah, but I find it interesting that...
Well, it's like the can of soup from what's his name, the real famous guy. And Warhol. And somebody sat and explained to me why that's so impressive, because it's really hard to do a really good image that's that big on a canvas. And my response was, but I can do it now. Just because it's a feat and a technical difficulty does not make it art. I would not buy that can of soup, I guarantee you. And I don't care how cool it is or how artistic it is. I don't really need a can of soup on my wall.
Are you sure?
I find it really interesting that your point is, if I can do it, it's not art.
Yeah, in a way. I suppose that's oversimplifying it, but yeah.
You've defined it as, I'm not an artist. If somebody can do something I can't, and it looks good, it's art.
No. If it entails skill that is difficult to obtain, that creates something beautiful or entertaining or whatever would define art in that way, then it would be art. If it doesn't take a difficult to obtain skill, then I find it really difficult to classify it as art, because my trump card is, if I can do it, then what skill have you developed that makes you good? That makes this good art. You know what I mean? It's like, according to Andy Warhol's arguments, or maybe it's not his argument, but the other artist's argument, the difficulty of making something on a canvas that large and how impressive it is. If I were to go out and do a giant image of a can of soup on the side of a building, even though it's pandering and I'm basically stealing his idea, by that same logic, I should earn millions of dollars because I was able to do something bigger than anything else that anybody's ever done, and it's hard to do. Does that make sense?
It makes sense what you're saying.
Upon that same logic?
Yeah, but logic doesn't really apply to art.
I agree, which is why I have problems with it.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not going to get into it. Maybe we'll talk about it next time, but the whole video game art thing, I'm open to the idea that video games can be art, but an essential part of a video game needs to still be there, and that actually needs to be fun and a game. If it's just a giant digital software deal where it could basically you play between cutscenes, it stops being a game at some point.
That was Metal Gear Solid, wasn't it?
Maybe. Actually, there have been some. Which one on the boat? Oh, 2, I think.
Yeah, that would be it. Where you end up getting played. You play as the blonde boy. Run.
Look, I love stealth games, and Metal Gear Solid brought me into the stealth genre. Splinter Cell did it better. Do I still like Metal Gear Solid? Yes. Do I still play them? Yes. Does that mean that Metal Gear Solid is great? No. The stories are convoluted and ridiculous. Oh, you got to kill the guy that's blue. He's shielding the other one and not doing any damage.
Taking him down.
Well, it's just I was curious why nobody noticed that you were doing no damage.
I was starting to notice it, but I figured if I keep it up, sooner or later it'll work.
I popped on my big cooldowns. Why is he dying?
I'm a tank. Even if I do damage, he doesn't die.
Your whole purpose is to watch what everybody else is doing.
Make sure we don't die.
Well, technically that's my job. Of course, what I do is not watch the playing field, but I watch the health bars, so sometimes when stuff is happening, I don't see it happen. Because if nobody is losing health, I don't care. Well, we need to wrap this up a bit. We've actually gotten over the hump of E3, and we're surprisingly on episode 4. Woo. Everybody, I know. And we've got guys out there in the Twitter world as well as others who have listened to us, and that's pretty cool. But we always end with a moronic argument of a fight between two people.
I've got one.
Actually, go ahead.
All right.
Save it for later.
Daffy Duck versus Donald Duck.
Ooh, Daffy always fails in whatever he attempts.
As does
Donald Duck.
Yes.
Donald Duck is who I would give it to. For a couple of reasons. Now, I'm going to go really detailed. 1, he has a really rich uncle. 2,
the uncle won't help, though.
Well, yeah, no, that's not the point. I can bring that up later. Hold on a second. 2, not only is he really angry, like Daffy Duck, but he seems to me angrier. 3, he dresses like a sailor, which suggests to me that he might know how to fight. With no pants on, which means he's fearless.
Daffy fights naked.
Well, at least Donald has modesty. The rich uncle point being that if he does get in trouble, his uncle can bail him out, thus he fights with no fear.
Okay, I vote for Daffy Duck, because he's a screwball.
See, I think I made a more reasoned argument than you did, but keep going.
He will fight regardless of how broken.
You got to be reading what the girl is saying because I can't share. Anyway, go.
Regardless of how broken it is, he is so self-absorbed that he won't even notice that there's a fight going on, and he'll just keep continuing.
See, I imagine Daffy Duck to be much like the douchebag in school who acts like he's a really tough guy and he goes to the gym all the time, and no matter how many pull-ups he does or curls he does, he has a glass jaw and passes out in the first fight. It's like he's so self-centered and stuff, he actually hasn't developed anything. Whereas Donald Duck seems like the kind of guy that heedlessly jumps into a fight and potentially loses against 20 other people.
Okay, yeah, I've been persuaded. I still want Daffy.
Right on! The whole goal of my argument was to sway Vaughn. What did I classify you as? Oh boy.
You said Mothman.
You're the Mothman to my Batman.
I looked and
Look up
couldn't
Mothman
find
and find
Mothman. I could find Killer Moth.
That's because he sucks. Well, Killer Moth is essentially.
Oh, okay.
He sucks.
I think...
Mind the AoE, and you need to pull him over here, Vaughn. My direction. Go ahead.
I think
now we
I'm
have to beat up the
Arthur to your the Tick.
Right, the sidekick that's the, what are you, an accountant?
He was. Now he's a superhero, and he's not quite set up for it.
Okay, so if you're the Arthur to my Tick, where does Jason fall in on this?
Oh.
Is he Miss Liberty or whatever her name is?
That was the lady's name, but what was the guy's name?
Mouse.
Yeah, the Flighter Mouse.
Jason's not that debonair.
I just hide it better.
Yeah, we got to pull over to the other one. Colto Tank. Pay attention.
Oh, we have now named the game.
Yes. Well, the point is not keeping it a secret. The point is it's not about the game. Which explains the podcast. Hey guys, thanks for listening. Episode 4. Who would have ever thought we would have actually stuck it out? Actually, I would, because we get together on Friday anyway. We might as well record the conversation. And surprisingly, there are people out there that enjoy it. And I would, sometime down the road, eventually try and get some people on to play a game with us, whatever it happens to be. One thing I would like to point out is Vaughn might not be with us next week, or maybe
we'll see. I'm traveling, but we'll see.
We'll see how it
can
goes.
Do something special.
Yeah. If either next week or the week after, if it gets to the point, and me and Jason will probably try and tag team it and get you guys something. Maybe I'll just have to antagonize Jason a lot to make it more interesting. We didn't get any ridiculous puns this time, Vaughn.
Well, that's because my grass allergies are kicking in, and I'm...
No, do not do that joke. You were holding on.
You walked into that one.
No. You were holding on to that joke, and nobody gets to hear it. We're grateful you guys are listening.